In this edition of RPP News, a plea to keep a serial killer behind bars fails. The Air Wing earns its keep. And Frankston is really excited. Hello, I'm Catie Sharp. Welcome to the latest edition of RPP News, bringing you stories from across Frankston and the Mornington Peninsula. Frankston serial killer Paul Denyer may be able to apply for parole again after the state government did not back an opposition motion to keep the murderer behind bars for life. The Liberal Party had put forward a bill to keep Denyer jailed, with legislation similar to that used to prevent Hoddle Street killer Julian Knight and Russell Street bomber Craig Minogue from being released. Denyer has been assessed as having a sadistic personality disorder and has expressed no remorse for his crimes. Premier Andrews told media he has confidence in the Adult Parole Board that recently rejected Denyer's parole bid, stating they viewed him as an ongoing risk and were unlikely to consider any future parole applications. The government's position has reportedly upset the families of the killer's victims. Anti-vax protesters used a pathway through Mornington Park to set up a series of protest signs last weekend. MP News quoted locals as saying the signs appeared to be spreading false and misleading information about COVID and vaccines. A council spokesperson stated the protest was not legal and the Shire will be investigating. The police air wing was in the right place at the right time last Tuesday night, assisting members on the ground with arrests in Cranbourne and Bangholme within 5 minutes of each other. In the first incident, the air wing was called in after a car was spotted travelling around 150 kilometres per hour in an 80k zone on Bellata Road at around 3:15 a.m. With help from the air, the stolen vehicle was followed and stop sticks deployed. The driver lost control and crashed into a ditch. A man and woman tried to run from the crashed car before police caught up with them. No sooner had the air wing pulled away from the arrest, they were called to Seaford after a car sped off from police in Yazaki Way. The air wing was able to track the car and guide officers to a property in Smith Street, Carrum, where a 37-year-old man was arrested. Police are asking anyone who witnessed the incidents or with dashcam footage to contact Crime Stoppers. Following the announcement last month that the Lloyd Construction Group had gone into voluntary administration, Frankston Council has announced plans for its 4 affected projects. The council has terminated all contracts with Lloyd Group. Officers are working with subcontractors for the final works on both Jubilee Park and the Healthy Futures Hub, which are almost complete. They have put out an expression of interest for new builders to continue works on Lloyd Park Senior Pavilion and the Eric Bell Pavilion. Following the state government's decision to extend shared e-scooter trials across Victoria and to legalise the use of private scooters, Frankston is running a small-scale trial in its city centre. The 4-month program will involve 75 e-scooters available for use in the city centre and foreshore area. It will include geofencing technology to establish slow-go zones, no-go zones, and to ensure dedicated parking zones are used at the end of each trip. The trial will provide data and insights about safe e-scooter use and the potential economic and environmental benefits for Frankston. If you fancy taking one for a spin, visit the council website for details. And ARIA award-winning children's artists, the Teeny Tiny Stevies, are heading to Frankston. Fresh off the back of their brand new album, How to Be Creative, the band will be at the Frankston Arts Centre next Sunday, the 28th of May. Performing a mix of fan favourites and brand new material, the band will have everyone up and dancing. The Teeny Tiny Stevies have been described as making children's music that won't rob adults of their will to live. The songs are a masterclass in embracing the creative urge, trying new things, learning from mistakes and working with others. Go to the FAC website for tickets. After the break, we have Bianca with the coming week's weather report.
Everyone knows Australia has 4 big banks, but the 5th biggest retail bank is snapping at their heels. It's a bank that's been around for over 160 years, can be found in over 500 locations nationwide, looks after over 1.8 million customers, and is regularly voted one of the most trusted brands out of all the thousands of brands in Australia. Who is this fantastic number 5? Yep, it's Bendigo Bank. The better big bank.
Established in 1988, Progress Science has been servicing the local community for 30 years. Located on the Mornington Peninsula, they are the #1 destination for all your signage needs, specialising in a variety of signage from vehicles to shop fronts, occasional and corporate events, short-term, long-term and everything in between. If it's signs you need, be it large or small, Progress Signs is the place to call. Available 24/7 at progress-signs.com.au or call the team on 5975 9188. Thinking signs? Think Progress Signs, a station sponsor.
Battery World now open in Mornington.
We know batteries. We know our 75 D23Ls from our DIN 65 LHs. And we know which is best for you. We have the range and a spark no one else can match because we live and breathe batteries. Those beautiful boxes and cylinders that power our lives and our passions. That's why we're the batteryologists. We're Battery World.
Battery World Shop 1, 43 Mornington Tyabb Road, Mornington.
Welcome back. We go now to Bianca for this week's weather.
Hello, I'm Bianca and welcome to this week's RPP weather update. Well, we are feeling winter kicking in with very chilly mornings, but will it stay cold? Let's dive in and find out. Today, Sunday, the 21st of May, should bring us a partly sunny day with some rain periods. We should reach a low of 8 and a high of 16. Monday should see much the same as Sunday. We can expect a low of 9 and a top of 16. Tuesday will be much the same again. We can expect a top of 17 and a low of 9. Wednesday sees this trend continue with a low of 9 and a high of 17. Thursday sees the cloud cover continue with some light rain throughout the day. We should reach a high of 15 and a low of 10. Friday brings us a mostly cloudy day with intervals of rain. We can expect a top of 11 and a low of 7. And finally, Saturday will bring us a mostly cloudy day. We should reach a high of 13 and a low of 10. Well, that's all for this week. Try to stay warm, and I will see you next week with another RPP weather update.
Now to our surf guru Muzz with the surf report.
Hi, it's Muzz back with this week's Mornington Peninsula Surf Report. Hopefully you got in the waves this week. There was a couple of days of big swell, but the conditions weren't the best to go with that size swell, so which was a bit unfortunate. But there was waves, so, which wasn't too bad. But the downside is back in the 4-3, back in the full steamer. That's not good. Water temperatures still hovering around about the 15-degree mark, but it is starting to drop, and with that wind and everything, yeah, it's pretty cold. The next week in front of us, look, it's a mixed bag of lollies. There's not going to be a lot of swell, and the winds are going to sort of be a bit up and down. Like there'll be some days and mornings where we'll have westerlies and nor'westerlies, but there'll also be a time there's sort of 2 or 3 fronts tracking in, and they're going to sort of produce southwesterlies and southerlies as well. So no real big swell. Although there will be waves, so it's going to be sort of small in Western Port pretty much every day. You just got to check the wind and the tides to see if it's going to be favourable at that time. So looks, Friday morning looks okay. Also Sunday looks like we might get a northwesterly into Monday. And then a few light wind days, but there could be a few fronts, so anything could change. But as far as surf goes, there'll be waves, nothing that's going to be exceptional. You're going to probably be surfing small waves around that Western Port, Point Leo, Shoreham area, I'd say, for most of the week. A few little windows at maybe Flinders or solid beaches. So this time last year we had a great run of beach breaks and warm sunny weather. It's not going to happen this year by the looks of it. So fingers crossed, but you will get in the water and it should be all right.
And that's all from our team here at RPP News, serving the community with stories that matter to you. Keep watching and do tell your friends. Bringing you the news from coast to coast across Frankston and the Mornington Peninsula, I'm Catie Sharp. See you for the next edition.
Local.